In today's session, I will be talking about a from AI suggestion to the secure execution. So, in this session, I will be covering on a why this matter now and what is the enterprise gap and AI concept. I will be explaining which we are currently using it in our day-to-day work, and also I will be explaining about a MCP fundamentals. And also after that, I will be touching upon the Sitecore marketer MCP. Then I will be touching the next section would be that how we can create our own custom MCPs or how we can extend that and what is the responsible AI practice which we need to follow when we are utilizing the AI in our day-to-day work. And later that then we can have a Q&A session. So this is about me, myself, Amit, and I'm having around a total 20 plus years of experience. So I mostly work on the Microsoft tech stack, and you can reach out to me via any of the social media channel. Coming to the first section, why this matter now and what is the enterprise gap? So you know that the AI is everywhere. So nowadays people are utilizing the AI to do most of the stuffs in their professional life or as well as in their personal life. And in those mainstream, the Gen AI and the co-pilots are the mainstream product, right? People are using. So, but the Gen AI and the co-pilot generally stops at the recommendation. They can draft a content for you. They can summarize there. They can provide you the insight. But real challenge is faced by the enterprise organization who are having a backend system in place and they are having a lot of other integration points. So they cannot utilize the Gen AI and Copilot because they can just suggest the content and after that they can't take any action. For example, if someone is having a CRM system or a CMS system or they are having any workflow which needs to be executed when user is giving some information or a prompt. So AI, this Gen AI and Copilot cannot take any action unless until you are not specifically giving any sort of instruction, API endpoints, keys, and everything. So those are the AI implementation challenges, and those are the execution bottleneck faced by the enterprise organization when they are trying to implement a complete end-to-end automation into your in their processes. So that's why there is a need for the standardization is coming into the picture. So in the upcoming slide, I will be covering how we are trying to fill those gap with the help of a products so that the enterprise organization can also start utilizing it. So what we can think of that it's a brain without a hands. Like you know that the LLM can write a blog post for you, but they cannot go and create a pages. They cannot add a component. They cannot add your pages or a component into the pages. Even they cannot go and get the site details or item details unless and until you are not giving a hands to them to create the content. So that's why it's an enterprise challenge that we need to find a standard way so that whenever anyone is utilizing the Copilot or a Gen AI to create a component or create a some product catalog page, and now you are having the content in front of you. Now someone needs to come in and they need to manually take those data and they need to log in into the CMS and they need to create the pages. But we are looking for a some standard tools so that we can automate that execution depth. So in this diagram, if you are seeing that with AIL and LLM, they can do the reasoning and the planning. They will give you the ideas, recommendation. But someone as a human needs to log in into the CMS and they need to perform manual action. So we are trying to fill that execution gap where we are not having the AI tools are not having direct access to the system. So there were a need for a two rows comes into the picture that is a agentic AI and the MCP. So with the help of those two roles, we can bridge this gap, which we are seeing as a enterprise gap or enterprise challenges, which are faced by the enterprise organization to complete automate the process. So now coming to the AI concept. So nowadays we are using all Gen AI Copilot. So I thought that I will be touching upon a what are those things, so that you will get a more idea how we can fulfill the gap. So Gen AI, you can think of a brain, the generative AI. So generative AI having a model such as Claude GPT-4, those are the intelligent layers. Like whenever you are trying to utilize any AI capability, these are the underlying engine, or you can say that the intelligent layer, and they are excel in producing the new content, images, drafting the content, creating the images, and summarizing the things. So their strength is the content creation and providing the summary to you. The limitation is that they are not having the execution capability, and they are not having that access to the tools or any system, so that they can go ahead and perform any sort of action. So in the co-pilot, you can think of a assistant. So co-pilot embed the GNI directly into tools like a VS Code, or you are using the Claude. So and one more thing is that they will observe the user behavior also, and they will memorize those into the memory, so that whenever you are coming to the next time, they will not ask the same question to you. With the help of that, they are trying to save the token which you are using to utilize any of the models. So their main strength is that they are having the in context recommendation or a memory, and they can boost the productivity. If you will give the access to the tools, they can perform the different action, or you can say that they can improve the performance for your day to day activity, and they can help you to do the continuous improvement also. And coming to the AI agent, those are the specialists. So AI agent wraps the Gen AI with a specific goals in the mindset, right? And they are utilizing the set of the tools. So they can execute the predefined tasks, such as, for example, if you are trying to fetch a data from some third party system, so you will giving the API endpoint, or suppose you need to get a weather information, then also you are utilizing the agent, or you are creating a specific agent. So their strengths are the task execution, and they can do the API based automation. As I was telling, if you will give the API endpoints, headers, and the keys, they can execute the task for you. But they are the goal oriented behavior they will perform. So limitation is that they are having the dependent on the integration, because without that they can't do anything. Like I was talking about in previous slide, brain without hands. So they are having the brain, but they cannot perform or touch any other system unless and until you are not providing a tools to them. Coming to the agentic AI you can think of as a manager. So agentic AI introduce a automation, reasoning, and planning. So they will not follow the script. What they generally will do, they will divide the goals into a small steps, or you can say that the small AI agent, and every agent is having their own set of instruction which they need to perform, and they will pass on to the other sub agent if you have build up your agent like that. So the agentic AI work as an orchestrator which will give the instructions or divide the task, and rest of the things will be follow based on whatever the chain of instruction you have provided to them. So their strength is that they can do the multi-step planning, and they can do the tool selection based on the tool accessibility if they are having. And limitation is that they also needs a secure access to connect to the system. You need to define a some sort of a credential or some other things way of authenticating, authorizing the third party system. And they are not easily able to discover. You can say that they cannot having the capability to discover the tools by themselves. So in those cases you need a MCP tools which are providing the self explanation to the AI agent, so that AI agents can map with the human languages. So when we will be doing the comparison in a way, what are their primary roles? So if you are seeing here that agentic AI can plan, reason, plus act, and they can take the action also when you are providing the access to the tools, but they are not enterprise safe, because you need to define the credential somewhere so that they can make a call to the API. So people will generally write a JavaScript or a Python script to connect to the third party system, and those results would be utilized by your agent after that. So that's why they are good for the complex goal, but they are not itself a enterprise safe. And for that, we need a MCP tools which are filling the gap, which so that the AI can connect with the downstream systems. So so we were having a some things which are missing, so that there is a things for a standard tool discovery which was not there, so that AI agent can automatically discover a tool which can be utilized by the user based on their prompt. And there was a gap of a type safe inputs, because whenever you are trying to utilize any set of tool or API endpoint, and if anyone is calling those, so they should be aware about what type of inputs and output parameters accepted by the third party system to be called. So that's why these things are coming up together, and we are started utilizing the MCP tools, because MCP tools is a open standard. So it's not like that when you are working on a .NET based application, you cannot utilize a JavaScript, Java based MCP tools. You can do that because there is an open standard. My model context protocol is an open standard, and it can be utilized in any of the languages, and it is providing the discovery, so that if user is typing like create a content item, then automatically your AI agent which you have created will be able to understand, if user has told us to create a content item, then which tools I need to call. It will automatically map the human language with that method, and it will call that. And type schema means predictable calls. It means that your AI agent will be knowing that what will be the JSON payload which needs to be sent to the MCP tools, so that there will be no issues. So suppose if your application or MCP tools is expecting a integer value and you are passing the string value, then automatically AI agent will prompt you the error that yeah, the MCP tools which agent is trying to call is expecting a numeric value, not a string value. Permission scope execution, that was the major thing which was accepted by the enterprise organization, because any organization which are connecting with the downstream system like a CRM system, so they will be not working in terms of a service account, because they always need a secure way or a role based access, so that the people who are authenticated and authorized to access a specific downstream system or a records will be only able to access. So that's why they generally avoid the service account, and they were not wanted to share the credential with any of the systems. So that's why nowadays you are seeing that most of the organization is utilizing the multi-factor authentication or a single sign-on. So that's why this was a major gap. And auditability and the governance, it means that when MCP tools are working, they are upfront are authenticating and authorizing your identity. So that's why they are having your identity who is trying to access the system or who is trying to call the systems, so that they were having a complete control in terms of a logs file who have updated which records. So that is the main major thing with the, or you can say that the feature of a MCP tools. And you don't need to think that MCP is a AI model or anything. It's just a tool which is being a called by the your AI agents, or you can say that the models, because MCP tool is providing the ways to connect with the third party system. So in terms of a, you can say that the client server integration, it will do all the things. So suppose if you will see here, generally your AI app or a host like a GitHub Copilot is there. So you will be having a MCP client in your GitHub Copilot, or you are utilizing the Claude or a VS Code, you are utilizing it. So they will be there. You will be having a client. Client, generally you will mention that what is my endpoint. So when you will be authenticating your MCP client, so automatically the MCP server will provide the list of the tools or a methods which are available for the consumption for the your host. So that's why if you see here that there is a JSON RPC or JSON remote procedures call is being made over the transport or streamable HTTP, and then MCP tools will be discovered, and your AI agent, like as I was giving the example, create a component, or if you are utilizing the Figma MCP server and you wanted a screenshot of your page, so you will say that give me the screenshot of this website. So automatically your MCP client will be able to map human natural language with the methods which are provided by the Figma MCP tool, or if you were talking about a Sitecore Marketer MCP tool, it will automatically map the natural human prompt with the specific method, and it will invoke the tools. And then internally, that MCP server, based on your credential, it will access the system and it will perform the operation and it will result the context. And later, that context will be passed to your AI agent, and AI agent can do the things whichever you have prompted. Like if you told to create an item, it will give you the item ID and the path and the other things which AI agent received from the MCP tools. So that way, the model context protocol will work. So if we will talk about agentic AI plus MCP, so as I was giving the example, it's a brain without hands. So there was a two hand. One is the agentic AI plus MCP server. If we will combine these two, then it's become a enterprise safe. So with this diagram or the flow, you are able to see that user is having a specific goals, then agentic AI will do the reasoning. It will divide the goal into a small task, and then it will be map those tasks to the MCP server which are discoverable to agent, and then that MCP server will perform the action and it will return the result. So if you will see that the MCP validates and execute via approved tools, because if you have used the Sitecore Marketer MCP tool, so you have seen that unless and until you are not authenticating and authorizing it and you are not giving the access to your tenant, you are not able to perform operation, any sort of a CRUD operation into your Sitecore AI website. So that's why it's a secure, because it's upfront will be checking your access you are having or not. So now coming to the Sitecore Marketer MCP. So as I was explaining what is model context protocol, so Sitecore also have built up a model context protocols tools for the marketer. So what generally it will do, it will uh, create a item for you. You can create a item for the in a Sitecore content tree. You can add a specific component. You can create a page out of any of the template if you wanted to update any content item. Those things, whatever the action performed by the marketing team to create any sort of page or campaign, those have been converted into the MCP tools. So these MCP tools build on top of a agent API. It so it's just a wrapper so that user can easily integrate those tools into their uh, any of the AI ID like a GitHub Copilot, sorry, Visual Studio Code or the Cloud Desktop. So generally for that you should be having a URL of that, because whenever you are trying to access any sort of MCP tool, you need to utilize the mcp.json file when you are using the VS Code, and generally you will write a set of endpoints, and when you will try to run that, then it will ask you to log in it. So in terms of it methods, whatever they are providing, it's like a create pages, update component, managing asset, and even you can trigger the workflow and you can do the some set of personalization also you can do with the help of a Sitecore Marketer MCP. So internally it will connects the Sitecore Agent API. Agent API internally will connect with the Sitecore AI system, and it will work with the multiple LLM clients like a Claude ID or the Copilot Studio. So in terms of a key capabilities, you can see here is that when you are integrating that with the Visual Studio Code or a Claude, so you will be having the MCP client, and it is having around a 60 plus or a 50 plus tools are available to perform a or interact with the Sitecore AI. So whenever you are telling create item, create page or anything, automatically it will upfront tell you which templates, from which templates or which sites you need to be, you need to create a pages. So all will be giving by the agent to you. And when you are providing all the payload which is required by your MCP tool, then automatically that MCP tool would be called, and internally marketer MCP tool interact with the Sitecore agent API, and Sitecore agent API will connect with the Sitecore platform, and the appropriate action will be performed. So it's a having a complete governance and the consistency. Why? Because whenever you are authenticating an authorization, you are giving your credentials to be authenticated. So it's a complete governed role-based access will be there. Consistency, it means that if you will say create item, so next time also it will create the item. It's not like that it will go and fetch up a create rendering item, because you already told that create page items, and then automatically your AI agent will map your instruction with the create page item tools. So that's way it's giving the consistency also to you. So if you will see here, as we were seeing in the first screen, like before MCP, AI will suggest that someone will click through the CMS UI and it will perform the action which I was explaining. So, but when we will introduce the MCP tool, so automatically all the manual steps will be taken care by the MCP. And suppose if you are not having any of the tools or a action items which you need to perform on a Sitecore AI system or any third-party system, so in those cases, we can extend that also, and we can create our own MCP tools also. So in order to create a MCP tools in the .NET, because we all came from the Microsoft tech stack, so we love to utilize the .NET framework. So for that, we can utilize the this C Sharp SDK, which is generally available to create the custom MCP tools. So generally, with the help of that, you can create or connect with any third-party system which is having a API endpoints for you to be consumed. So suppose if you are having any dynamic CRM system, so I think currently Dataverse is only having the MCP tool. So rest of the Microsoft or other is not having the AI tool. So you can build up your own MCP tool by utilizing their AI system. Sorry, their API system. So for example, if you need to create the product catalog page, right? So generally in a e-commerce website, your single source of truth is the CRM system for any sort of a product information or MSU. So suppose you are having the Excel sheet or a JSON or anything, you can pass your those Excel sheet or a JSON file to your AI agent to create these systems or a product in the CRM system, and then push those data into the Sitecore AI. So if you are having a both Sitecore Marketer MCP tool or uh, your CRM system tools in one place. So all the tasks which someone will be doing manually, like first they will go and create a manually content into the CRM system, and then someone will be taking those data or a ID or something and logging into the Sitecore system and creating the product item page where they will be adding a product ID also which received from the AI. So all these things can be extended with the help of a your custom MCP tools. So whenever we need to utilize the custom MCP tools, so we need to create a .NET Core solution, because this is not you cannot utilize the .NET 4.a 4.a to create your custom MCP tool. It's based on the .NET Core. So in order to build up a new systems, these custom MCP tool, you need to inherit a. Let me show you. You need to inherit the Microsoft Data SQL Lite. You need to utilize the extension hosting, and this is the Model Context Protocol SDK. These three things you need to utilize it, and then you are having a program.cs file. So generally, it is having a this dependency injection. So here I am utilizing the services. So I have added a utilize the dependency so that I can utilize these service. And these are the configuration just for the logging purpose. And these are the add MCP servers. You need to add these line items into your program.cs file so that it will register MCP into the .NET DI pipeline, and it will be discoverable to your agent itself. And you can utilize the I'm utilizing the HDI server transport. So based on your requirement, you can use the HTTP transport itself. And when we are utilizing the with tool from assembly, so with the help of that, it will auto discover all MCP tool via reflection. So because you know that when you are trying to utilize any of the things or metadata which you have added into your code base, so with the help of reflection, you are exposing all the metadata to the external system. So I will show you that whenever you are utilizing these things, so automatically whatever the description or a metadata, not the method definition, the metadata will be discoverable to the agent, so that user is telling some action to be performed, then automatically it will map. So for that we need to create a one CS class, and we need to decorate with the MCP tool type. So the meaning of this is that this tell the SDK it's a tool container. So in one tool you can have a n number of methods. So when you are trying to add any method, like for example, I have created a get child details. So I need to decorate that with the MCP server tool. So and we need to also define the clear description. So this description will be available to your AI agent, which I was telling. So with the help of that only, AI agent will map the user prompt, and it will identify that automatically, that if I am telling to create a child, then automatically it will map human prompt with this method and it will call it. So that's why we need to add a any sort of description in a plain English, not in the CRUD operation or something like that, so that it can be easily discoverable. So this data will be present to the AI agent. That's why I was keep telling about a self discovery or a discoverable. So these are the things which is exposed to your AI agent. And then each of the parameter you are having the description also. So like the item path. So because whenever you are trying to access any Sitecore item, you require the item ID or a item path, and you require the language. So that's why I am giving a item path and I am mentioning the example of that, and even I am giving the GUID also, and then I am mentioning the pattern of the GUID, so that AI agent will automatically give you the example also whenever it will ask you to provide the inputs. And also language, here I have make it as a default English. So suppose if you are not providing, then automatically it will take it as a English language. Then I have written a one service. What generally it will do, it will make a call to the Edge API endpoints, this Edge URL, and there you will be adding a header as a API key. So when you are utilizing any sort of credentials or a API endpoint, so you don't need to hard code here. So whenever you are working with these marketer and these MCP tools, so same like how you are working in our .NET code base, other where you are having the environment variable, here also you can create that dot environment variable. So automatically whenever you are deploying this agent to anywhere or you are running from your local machine, you do not need to hard code there. Whoever is trying to utilize that system, they just need to add their own credential and they are not sharing with other. That's why it is more secure, because you are not hard coding the things, and whenever you are checking this code into the code repo, you will be not checking your credentials like how we are having a .env file in the front end code base. Same way you will be having a placeholder in the code repo, and someone is trying to utilize this tool in their system, they need to have their own credentials to be entered. So same way, whenever you are creating any set of custom MCP tool, you can mention, you can access these API key and the API endpoints from the environment file, which you need to be defined in your mcp.json file. So that way it is secure enough. So here you are seeing that simple query that I am passing the language and a path, and automatically it is returning the result. So same way, I am having a this monkey service also. What it will do generally, it will go to the this third party website. Let me show you that also. it will go to the third party website and it will get the JSON data which is having a set of item in place, and then it will present to the user. And it is also having a one more method, get monkey. What it will do, it will, whenever you will pass the name of any specific monkey, then it will you return you the details of that. And same way I have created a one more tool called a echo tool. What it will do, it will just whatever you will type, it will return the message to you. So these are the, so suppose if you will see the monkey tool also, there also is a description is simple, get a list of monkeys. So if I will say get monkeys, so automatically your AI agent will be able to identify that which method needs to go. So suppose if you have wrote all these method, then how you will utilize that. So generally these custom MCP tools is meant to improve the productivity. So suppose if we are working with the Sitecore AI, then we will be having a utilizing this as a developer tool. So for those purpose, I will be utilizing the mcp.json, where I have named my custom MCP solution this as a mcp.sitecore AI, and I am utilizing the type stdio, and command is .NET. So it means that to utilize this code, we need to compile the code, and for that we need to utilize the .NET exe. So that's why .NET have been mentioned here. And also I am running from my this solution itself. So that's why I'm giving the relative path, like the name of the solution, CS project I have given. So whenever you are utilizing these .NET MCP tools, you don't need to run by yourself, like how we used to run the batch job or those things. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to define here. So whenever you will be starting the tool, automatically it will build and compile in the background and it will be used. So you don't need to run it from here. Automatically it will be running in the background. So but when you are utilizing the clouded or desktop, so the you can say that the configuration is different. So you need to give the absolute path of your this .NET exe itself, and also you need to give the complete absolute path of your CS project. So then in those cases, the configuration are different whenever you are utilizing with the different systems. So that way, when you will do that, and if you will try to run it, so I have integrated that tool into the cloud desktop. So suppose if I will say uh, list of tools, so what will happen? It will give me the list of tools whichever have been added into my cloud desktop. So suppose these are the external tools which I am using, this Figma, and these are my MCP tools. So I was keep telling about a discovery of the method, right? So if you will see here, the get a monkey by name, get a full list of monkeys. So how this data is coming? Because you have already defined those things here, and these are available to your AI agent. So that's why when I said that get list of tools, so automatically it is giving you the description. So if I will simply say that get monkeys, so automatically it will go and map with the get monkeys method. So it will give me the list of the monkeys which are present in this raw data, right? So as I was explaining that the whenever you are utilizing this GitHub Copilot or Visual Studio Code or anything, so they are having the capability to provide the good user experience also to you, because whenever you are calling any of the method, so most of the time the data will be coming in the JSON formats, but your ID or this AI agent will be making this into the human understandable format so that they can present you in a understandable format. So that is the one of the more one of the, you can say that the feature of your agents also, whichever you are using it. So suppose if I will say that, just I will copy this and I will say a monkey, so automatically it will go and fetch the data for that monkey. So that way you can create any set of tools. So now suppose if I will say get child details. So as I was explaining you that your data should be, or whatever the description you have added should be self-explanatory. So that's why automatically it is giving me the example also, which tools or anything or what parameter is required, and what is the path and what is the GUID format. So suppose if I will give a this ID, so it should fetch the data of that child, children of those child. It should give me all the records. So how it's working? So suppose if I am providing this, so automatically it went and make a call. So whenever you are using any sort of ID, you can identify that what the payload is, what data have been forwarded to the agent. So suppose if you are seeing here that automatically it picked up the language as a EN. So how your agent will be knowing that which language needs to be passed by default. So how it's knowing that? Because I have already mentioned a description here, and these parameters are exposed to agent. So that's why the default language is automatically is passed as EN. So suppose if you will see set the D or a German, then agent will automatically pass the D. So with this, you can create any sort of a custom MCP tools which are not present in your complete process or a workflow like I was explaining about a CRM tools or anything. So you can also create your own custom MCP tool in order to make a complete automation to your processes. Now coming to the responsible AI in practice. So whenever you are utilizing the AI, so you always needs to be take a complete responsibility because whenever you are utilizing Copilot or a Claude or anything, so you will see a disclaimer here. It's AI generated content. You should review that before sharing it or using it. So that's why you need to design your AI agent in such a way that whenever you are asking to perform any action, someone in front of a system should be present to give a yes or no things. You shouldn't needs to be give a 100% control to the AI agent or a system so that automatically it will go and create a record. So simple example is that suppose if you are utilizing the Sitecore Marketer MCP tool and you are giving a create item and you are giving the list of the items to be created. So suppose one time you have created a item uh, page new page under the home node, right? So next time when you are giving it and you are not giving the options uh, or providing the parent, then automatically it will pick up and it will store the parent as a whatever you have provided previously. Because I was explaining that it will having the capability to memorize your previous action or user context, so automatically it will store that. So that's why when you are trying to design your agent, you always needs to be incorporate human in loop so that if I am giving a hundred of records to be created and I'm just passing the Excel sheet or a JSON file. It's not like that. People will give the prompt and they will go for a coffee break. So in that manner, what will happen that it will go and create a 100 record within a home node itself or a previous action performed by the AI. So that's why you need to design AI agent in a way so that whenever you are it is creating a performing action, it will ask you or a prompt you to provide the parent ID or a language or whatever the required things. So you need to think in a manner that when you are designing it, so you need to add all those security gates which you are generally performing manually to be incorporated in your agent. So that's way you need to design it and you need to be make agent in a role based access so that it is having a complete governance. It will not go and touch the other content tree item and you need to utilize the role based access to connect with your Sitecore content tree so that no one is updating the content in a place where they're supposed not to do. So in other words, so responsible AI ensures that AI system operates safely, transparently. Transparently means that you are having the complete logging for a user who is performing or agent is performing action so that at any given point of time, if you need to perform any sort of audit, so they can do that. And it should be having the complete organization control in terms of a role-based access or a multi-factor authentication. So you need to start with the small things. So don't attack the major area of your project or a content tree. Start with the small, and then when it is mature, then you can install that for the other set of a processes or other set of a content tree. And in simple words, so you need to provide the least privileged access, you need to enable logging, monitoring, and the audit trails, and you need to have a clear human accountability. Whoever is running, they should be having a complete responsibility. Whatever they are doing, that they are knowing that what action have been performed. So that way, you can build up agent or a AI processes in your organization is a complete transparent by following the responsible AI. So key takeaway which I trying to explain is that what is the enterprise gap we are having in today's world or a time frame, so that enterprise can follow this AI extensively and perform a end-to-end processes with the automation. And what are the enterprise gaps are there, and what are the tools or mechanism which we can introduce to fill those gaps, and what is the Sitecore marketer MCP, and what are the tools available for the marketer or a users to be executed. And then we have touched upon how to create the custom MCP tools, and what are the uh, packages we need to inherit, and how we can write it, what are the class decoration we need to maintain it, and how we can integrate those with the Visual Studio Code as well as with the Cloud Desktop. And when we try to run it, and we saw that how to interact with the tools, and how your AI agent is mapping natural human language with the tools which you have provided the access with the help of a discovery and the exposing the input and output parameters. So now if you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to ask me.